Hi, this is PR Sundar. Welcome to this special episode where we are going to talk about the new GST proposals. In fact, I've already come out with a video, GST Reforms. So now this is a GST Reforms Part 2. So first, let us look at the historical background. The GST was introduced in 2017 with so many slabs 0, 5, 12, 18, 28, then 28 plus plus and so on. In 2014, the BJP came to power for the first time. And that time, in the very first budget, Arun Jaitley, the then finance minister, promised to bring the corporate tax from 30% to 25%. But however, during his entire 5-year period, so he has never done that. But instead of reducing the corporate tax to 25%, what they have done, for companies having a turnover of less than 1 crore, we bring the tax to 25%. The next year, for the companies that is having a turnover of 5 crore, something like that they have done. That means they made this concession 25% tax only for smaller companies, not for bigger companies. When you are in stock market, any company that is listed in stock market, so definitely will have a hundreds of crores of turnover. So none of the market related entity benefited out of that. Then what happened? In 2019, the BJP came to power once again, second time. And that time, the then finance minister Arun Jaitley was not well. So he didn't want to continue as a finance minister. So then Nirmala Sitharaman was appointed as a finance minister. And what happened? Within few weeks, she said something like, planning to tax the foreign portfolio investors. The foreign portfolio investors were not happy. They continued to sell into our markets. So at some point of time, so their selling came, very big, uncontrollable. So the government did not know what to do. Then one Friday, she met the press people. She simply said, no tax on FPIs. That's one thing. It was a complete U-turn. Then corporate tax was reduced from 30% to 22% in one shot. What Arun Jaitley promised to do it in over 5 years, it did not do. Then Nirmala Sitharaman has done it in one shot from 30% to 22%. So the critics were saying, so the BJP government acted on pressure. So because they did not know how to control these FIIs, FIIs kept on selling. Then what happened? So this one stroke, just lifted the sentiment of the stock market, and Nifty shot up 6-7% on that particular day. That was a Friday. Again, Monday, it shot up another 2 to 3%. Just in 2 trading sessions, Nifty shot up nearly 10%. And that was a shock therapy for the short sellers. Sometimes market keep going lower and lower. People left, right and center, they short the market. So all those short sellers were caught very big. And one of my friends, he had a capital of 50 lakh rupees. So he didn't even watch what the finance minister said. Then market went up. He thought market has already gone up so much, how much more it's going to go. He kept on selling call option. Market continued to rise. And then, by the end of the day, his capital was 50 lakh, but his loss was 75 lakh rupees. So in panic, he had to square up. Still, there was a 25 lakh rupees shortfall that the next day he had to pump in that money. So if you think, you can lose maximum what you have, you're wrong. Sometimes incidents like that, your loss can be more than the capital. So that was whether the government acted on pressure or not. But if you ask me, one good thing BJP has done for this country, I would say this reduction of corporate tax from 30% to 22%. Although I'm not an expert in calculating, the tax collection, this and that, but by reducing the tax from 30% to 22%, I don't think that the government collected less taxes. And because the profitability of companies went higher, So because on a higher quantum, so they are paying. Say I'm just giving an example. If somebody making 100 rupees profit and giving 30 rupees as the tax, so if the tax is less, he can be more competitive. So his profit may become 200 rupees. So even if they charge 25% tax on 200 rupees, that will be 50 rupees rather than charging 30 rupees tax for 100 rupees profit. Lower the tax and higher will be the collection. But there is a threshold. So there are some mathematical models. You can't say keep on reducing the tax, the government will get more. So you can't reduce the tax to zero. You reduce the tax to zero, nobody will get anything. Anyway, so this incident has happened in 2019. Then what happened? After that, the coronavirus came, and that time foreign institutional investors were selling. At some point of time, they've sold for nearly 2 lakh crores. In fact, one deputy governor of RBI, I forgot his name. So he has come out with a white paper saying that this FII selling can be a potential black swan event for Indian economy. And that time they sold only 2 lakh crore. And then what has happened? Luckily, I always say this BJP government is a very lucky government. I remember last time when Vajpayee came to power, the petrol prices, the crude oil prices has come to around $10 in the world market. So that has benefited BJP very much. Now also you see, we are buying discounted price from Russia, but we are selling at the market rate. So again, who is lucky? It is the government is lucky. So neither people of India nor the Russia is lucky. What has happened when these FIIs continue to sell? Lucky thing that has happened to BJP government, the retail people started coming to stock market in huge numbers. Nowadays we see SIP inflow is at the highest level, 28,000 crore, and every month about 40,000 crore is coming to mutual funds. So last month data suggests that they've got about 42,000 crore inflow into mutual funds, out of which 28,000 crore plus is SIP. So that is the kind of money. But on the other hand, and do not know what has happened, since last October, so these FIIs started selling aggressively. When 2 lakh crore selling happened few years before, the deputy governor of RBI said that this can be a potential black swan event. Now since last October until now, I think FIIs have sold more than 4 lakh crore. Just imagine in 9 to 10 months period, 4 lakh crore has been sold by FIIs. So the government is once again under pressure just like 2019. So they do not know how to control these FIIs. On top of this, another problem, the US is standing very much against India. Trump has announced 25% tariff on India plus extra 25% tariff because we are buying oil from Russia. The point here is that China is also buying oil from Russia, but there is no penal tariff against China. So, two countries buying oil from Russia, but one country they say 25% extra tariff, but there is no extra tariff for China. So that's totally unfair. So that shows that the tariff is not actually because of buying crude oil from Russia. There is something else behind it, which common man like you and me will never know. There might be something behind the curtain, some negotiations, something not agreeable, So one thing is very clear. So US stands very much against India as of now. And plus, these FIIs continue to sell. So if we talk more about that, that become more political. So let us avoid more political discussions here. But one thing is very clear. US is against India. And then most of the FIIs are also from US. So, if this controversy between India and US continues, maybe who knows, you will never know. The Trump, he doesn't know what is his right and what is his, limits. He can even start influencing other FIIs, sell India like that. He can do anything. So he is the total irrational person in this world. So potential black swan event is actually now rather than few years before, as the RBI Deputy Governor said. 4 lakh crore selling has happened and they continue to sell. From October to January, they continuously sold. Then after that for a few months they bought, but they bought quantity was less. Again from July first week, they started selling again. I think from July until now, FIIs have sold 70,000 crore. So now what has happened? Now the situation is similar to 2019. So one shock therapy is needed. So that is what exactly the Prime Minister has done during his Independence Day speech. So GST will be reduced. So 28% GST may be coming to 18%, 12% GST may come to 5%. Right. Now, once again, the critics say the Indian government is acting due to the pressure from FIIs and due to pressure from Trump. Whatever it is, why should we worry? We are benefiting, so that's it. So whether they act under pressure or without pressure, so it doesn't matter to us. Now, what all we are praying, so let us hope this Trump gives more pressure, this FIIs gives more pressure, so that in addition to reducing this GST, the government may consider reducing the STT, stamp duty, and those kind of things. So because the STT, stamp duty, or overall the transactional cost is very, very high in India. And in addition to that, if there is more pressure from US, more pressure from FIIs, who knows? One day they may come and say, we are removing the long-term capital gain tax. Most countries, the long-term capital gain tax is zero. But, we brought STT in lieu of long-term capital gain tax tax. And then what happened? Long-term capital tax has also come back and the STT continue to stay and STT continue to increase. So, I'm hoping, sometimes, when the people are under pressure, so they tend to outperform. BJP is known for outperforming when under pressure. The 2019, under pressure, they reduced the corporate tax. That was good for everyone. Now under pressure, they are reducing the GST. The similar way, under pressure, if they reduce the STT, if they remove the long-term capital gain tax, if they reduce the short-term capital gain tax, and on top of all these things, if they reduce the petrol and diesel prices, we all will get benefited. So at the end of the day, as a consumer, so we must be happy. We don't care whether BJP is acting under pressure or not. So at the end of the day, so we want to benefit. So that is the story. So let us hope that, over a period of next 1 or 2 years, and all this happens. So our request to the government is that, they should consider reducing STT, they should consider removing long-term capital gain tax, and they should consider reducing the petrol and diesel prices. So yesterday I came out with 3 suggestions, allowing input credit for all the products and like that. So today again coming out with 3 suggestions to the government. So you do this, then in the long term, our prospects for our Indian market is really very good. And all the FIIs who are leaving now, one day they will come back. But they want some stable policies, right? And last 20 years, our policies were not stable. I think 2004, if I'm not wrong, the long-term capital gain tax was reduced to 0, and then STT was introduced in lieu of that. But then after that, during the BJP period, for options trading, the STT has shot up nearly 5 times. So that's really very, very huge. So let the economic reforms continue, and all these reforms also continue. So hopefully the BJP can look forward for the fourth term if they do all these things. So that's our suggestion. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for watching.